So you know those moments where you become aware of something that you knew before, you just did not give it your entire attention. And it turns out it's really awesome. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Welcome, folks. This is Joe from Joe Thinks Art. My family and I watched the Witcher series on Netflix. We're already Henry Cavill fans, and that was a fantastic series. I look forward to the second season. There will be spoilers in this video, at least to a minor degree, if you have not watched the Witcher series. Merely because I will be talking about this piece of art, which this piece of art is inspired by a scene in the series. And I've seen that particular scene has exploded into a huge internet meme thing, which is awesome. It's just so funny. So where would you look if you were trying to find a genie? Well, Geralt, the main character of the Witcher series, who's a magically infused, basically superhero monster slayer, whom would apparently look in a lake with his bard friend and succeed to his bard friend's amazement. But things didn't work out quite the way Geralt had hoped, and it was all because he could not sleep. Geralt being rather grumpy. He was trying to find a genie to make a wish to get some sleep. Let that soak in. So this scene is actually as Geralt the Witcher is casting a net in a river, trying to get a genie's lantern that he is aware that is there, when his bard friend comes up and starts talking to him. And Geralt has not had a lot of sleep and is rather grumpy. So the bard inquires, "Hey, how's my singing?" And Geralt insults him. The whole time, Geralt is netting in the river for the genie's lantern. Now, the funny thing is I was aware of The Witcher. Like, I knew when the first game came out, any which way. I was working at a local tech bench here. Like I've said, I'm an IT guy. I fix computers, and now I do corporate IT for hire. And video cards, when you build computers, video games would often come with some video cards. Back when The Witcher came out, it was a game that was included with some video cards. So we would be installing video cards into custom-built machines to sell out on the sales floor, and we'd advertise it came with a video game because they did. And The Witcher was one of them. Now, outside of that, I knew that The Witcher had a sequel, and I knew that a third game had come out too. And I've had friends that have played it and have definitely said that it's a great series, and I've seen them play some of it. But it wasn't until I sat down with my family and watched the series that I realized, oh my gosh, this is indeed our kind of thing. And you see, for us, Henry Cavill is Superman. We like the Superman movie, the whole concept of retelling the story for a more modern time. I particularly liked the way that Krypton was shown at the beginning of this Man of Steel. And then there would come to be the Batman versus Superman and then the Justice League stuff. And even though everybody's saying that's fallen apart, who knows? Things change. But right now that does appear to be the way that it's worked out, because things haven't worked out. Their measuring stick might be a bit too high, though. If they are trying to reproduce what Marvel has succeeded at, yes, they have failed at that. But if they're trying to bring joy to DC fans to see them try to do it, we're all used to you changing actors. That's normal. We get that. Wish it wasn't that way, but we get that. And don't get me wrong, me personally, I'm still more of a Marvel fan than I am a DC fan, but I still have deep-seated love for DC. I personally, in my teenage years, fell in love with DC, Marvel, and Image Comics. That's Spider-Man, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and the X-Men. Batman, Superman, and Swamp Thing. And that's Gen 13, Spawn, and Witchblade. These are all characters that have influenced me in some way, shape, or form, either artistically or story-wise, as I grew up. Again, I used role-playing concepts and ideas and things like that were going on to incorporate into my role-playing sessions when we were role-playing Dungeons & Dragons in the Rifts RPG. It was our world, but I would draw influence from various different things around us. which made for a more rich and fluid world, and a more contextually important world. because we would be dealing with some things that were similar to what was going on in the real world, or at least in popular culture, in the 1990s. But to ring it back in a little bit more, again, I was aware of The Witcher, and I've been a Bioware fan. I mean, Neverwinter Nights was one of my favorite games, and really got me into modding games in general. And afterwards, kind of deviated from PC gaming again, and Bioware became kind of a different company. I kind of started following Bethesda with like Oblivion, and then played Morrowind. I went backwards, but I didn't play that one first. And then, of course, they got the rights to the Fallout series. And then, they came out with Skyrim, which was also fantastic. So specifically for this piece of art, I wanted to keep it a little loose. And I can't say I was 100% happy with the outside lining job that I did with this. But overall, I'm happy with it. I feel like I conveyed the moment there. I didn't leave a lot of room for the word bubbles and stuff. Although the whole idea behind this initially was that the name of the piece of art would be the words that were used. So what do you think? Have you seen The Witcher on Netflix yet? Which is not sponsoring this video, hasn't been anyone. I'm just doing this because I'm really excited about the Witcher series. So for the background, I thought I would leave it a little less defined yet still detailed and whimsical. Thus the whole looks a little bit like crayon. Your mind kind of draws a little bit more of what's actually there versus not. And in the foreground it looks blurry, detailed yet not. I think I might end up blurring the foreground leaves a little bit more. I kind of committed to leaving it that way to add to the entire overall feel of the picture. I'm just not sure. Like every other artist out there, I'm sure, I'm doubting the decisions that I've made, even though they're artistic choices. So did you have a favorite scene? If you have seen it, I'd love to hear about it. Leave a comment down below. And if you like this type of material, me putting fan art up there, definitely leave me a comment and hit the like button. If you haven't, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications for when I release new videos. And remember, be kind to one another and use your turn signals.